Will the gamble of Enzo Maresca resting key players against Brentford at the weekend pay off as we go head-to-head with Legia Warsaw in the Conference League tomorrow night, 5:45? This is the match preview. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. The sun is actually shining. It's actually shining. I can't believe it. The sun is shining. Will there be a dark cloud over Chelsea is another question by the end of the game tomorrow night. But let's try and get into the preview. Let's get into some of the thoughts, the actions, and some information about the opponent that we'll be playing tomorrow night. Now, Legia Warsaw are a team that are very dominant in their domestic league. They aren't doing as well as they have done previous seasons, but they are one of the top Polish teams that we are coming up against, and they have some really good players, really good form, as I said, domestically, but also in the Conference League as well. Now, that's saying all that, I'm going to say this as well, that we are Chelsea Football Club, and we are tipped, we are favourites to win this tournament outright. We have been from the very start. And let's be honest, we shouldn't be coming up against a team like Legia Warsaw and not being able to get the result away from home. We should be able to go there and get the result, play the football that we need to bring back a good advantage to Stamford Bridge in the second leg. Now, let's go back to Sunday very briefly, because I was, as you could tell from the previous video, I was not in the best of moods to talk about football after our very stalemate, boring game against Brentford. But Enzo Maresca did rest a lot of players in that game. I'm trying to cast my mind back to who was rested. We didn't see Levi Colwell at all. He didn't even come on. Reece James was taken off. There was 10 minutes to go. Mark Correa comes on. Half an hour for Cole Palmer, half an hour for Pedro Neto, and 45 minutes for Nicholas Jackson. Now, I said on Sunday, I didn't feel that gamble paid off. I feel like we should have been prioritising the Premier League over the Conference League. I actually still essentially think, even though we played Spurs last Thursday, we played Brentford on Sunday, and we have Legia Warsaw tomorrow, that within the space of 7 days, we have the squad depth. And some of these players have come back from injury, I get it, but we have enough players in that squad to be able to rotate and have some of the key players that should have played on Sunday and also play in tomorrow's game as well. But Enzo knows best. He is the manager. Couple of things here. So we've dominated the group stage, winning all 6 matches and then scoring in 26 goals. We've scored 26 goals in the Conference League so far. I'm just reading down some key stats here, but Legia Warsaw, they had a strong start in the league phase, winning 4 of their first 4 matches and scoring 17 goals in the competition so far. So they know the back of the net is, and they also have a very good home record as well in terms of their wins. They've stumbled with losses in their final 2 league phase games, but bounced back in the round of 16, beating Molde in extra time as well. They are known, as I said, for their home resilience. They got a really good home record. This is the first time Legia Warsaw and Chelsea will be facing each other in a competitive game. So what to expect? So I expect a hostile environment. We know what sort of Eastern European football crowds can be like at times, and I feel like Poland will potentially be no different to that sort of similar environment. It is going to be a difficult environment for the players, I think, to go into. But look, we've got to come into this game with the intention of winning the game, first of all, the obvious one. But I think more so for me, it's more down to the selection of the team that Enzo Maresca is going to pick and face. Because if we get a team that just isn't set up right in the first instant, I don't think we can moan or complain if we bring on the likes of, I don't know, Cole Palmer or Nicholas Jackson in the second half. And if we're 1-0 down or it's 0-0 and we don't get the win that we need to take back into the second, Maresca was at fault for that on Sunday. He was at fault for that for me against Tottenham as well, albeit we got the win. But we can't afford to have a slip up in this game. We can't. You have to change things tactically to adapt to the team that you're playing. Arsenal and Arteta done that yesterday against Real Madrid. No one could tell me that before the game 3-0 was going to be the scoreline to Arsenal. So you have to change things tactically in order to adapt to the team that you're facing. And Maresca clearly doesn't always do that, which is a worry. I look at our team and I look at the recent form of both clubs, and I would probably say we have to edge it just because of the expectation from us, the quality of players that we have as well. I mean, we could easily rest maybe Levi Colwell tonight and still have Tosin. We could have Badia Shield back in the team. What I am expecting to see, though, is some of the players that potentially got us to this stage of the competition as well. Now, we know that obviously Renato Vega, Michaela Mudryk, Carney Chukwemeka, obviously they're no longer at the club and they were part of the sort of B squad that we had at the team as a squad at the first phase of the Conference League. But we have to utilize this squad now. We have some really key games coming up in the Premier League as well. So yes, I understand the rotation, but for me, this is the game that I would have rested and rotated some of those players that should have started on Sunday that didn't start on Sunday. I'll be looking at this game as the rotational game, the ones where you rest certain players. And, Maresca's done it the other way around. He rested on Sunday. He decided to maybe pick an unbalanced team on Sunday. But this is the game I would have rested players, because not to discredit Legia Warsaw at all, but we should be beating them with calm, with ease. It'll be interesting to see about NKUNKU. A lot of the fan base, including myself, criticised him heavily after his performance against Brentford, getting hooked at halftime for Nicholas Jackson. Didn't really do much in that game, but he has done okay in the Conference League as well. So there is a question mark about whether you start him in this game. Do you bring him on? Does he get any game time at all tomorrow night? But for me personally, this is where he's kind of thrived. And we have to remember, when we signed him, we signed one of the most prolific players in the Bundesliga and was, unfortunately out for the season after that for injury. But he was so prolific for when he was in the Bundesliga. There's that player still has to be in there somewhere. You can't go from that player to then suddenly not being the player that can string two passes together or make the right run or time the run in the right way or make something happen in the attacking third. That player still has to be in there, that one that we signed from the Bundesliga. He has to be there. I personally don't get where it's gone, where the confidence has gone, where it's an injury issue or whatever the case is, but something has to change, because I feel like NKUNKU is probably the most valuable asset that we are willing to allow to leave the club in the summer. I think if we're talking about who's going to generate and churn in a bit more money for the owners, NKUNKU is probably top of that list. He hasn't really performed or delivered since he got here. And I'm not saying that this is the platform that he should be benchmarking his performances against, but he's got to show us something, because I think he's going to be one of those names that is going to be on the top of that list of no longer, surplus to requirements, no longer needed at the club in the summer. If he doesn't perform for the next 8 Premier League games and for the remainder of this Conference League, he has to perform. No ifs or buts. He's got to perform. Otherwise, he's going to be out the door straight away, the first name on the list. So I do question NKUNKU's confidence, whether he's something going on between him and the manager behind closed doors. We don't know, but he has to perform. When it comes to 90 minutes and he crosses that white line, all of that goes out the window. He has to perform if he's given the opportunity to do so. So my predicted lineup is going to consist of Felipe Jurgensen in goal. I've gone for the back four of Josh Ashiempong, Badia Shield, Tosin as our centre-backs, and Marco Correa as the left-back. Now, I do feel there's going to be a couple of question marks with this lineup. The first question mark, I think, will be, why is Keenan Dewsbury Hall in this team? Now, for me, I'm going for a team that I think Maresca will pick. I'm going for a team that Maresca might go with tomorrow. And I think we also need to understand that Caicedo cannot play every single game from now until the end of the season. I think he's the most valuable and most important midfielder that we've got at the club at the moment. We know that Lavia is potentially out for the remainder of the season. And to be honest, Dewsbury Hall, this is his kind of game. He enjoys these sort of games where he can, drop into spaces here and work something, here and drop in. And again, there'll be opportunities for Enzo to do exactly the same in his role as well, which I've picked as a double pivot with Dewsbury Hall in that midfield. Now I've gone with, which I should have said as well, with Josh Ashiempong. I've gone with Josh Ashiempong because I feel like ever since he signed that contract, which I feel was a ransom, maybe a ransom, backs against the wall sort of thing with the club, we haven't really seen much about Ashiempong. That's obviously because Malo Gusto's back, Reece James is back. But I feel like this is a game where you would probably want to rest both Reece James and Malo Gusto. Reece James, again, obviously coming back from a long-term injury. Malo Gusto, I think, was out for some time as well and hasn't really been the player that we thought he was going to be, especially after last season. But For me, Achiampong deserves an opportunity in this game. Now, my only worry about this back line is it's a lot of change. It is a lot of change at the back. You have to question whether playing that many, changing that many people in the team is sensible. But I think we need to rest Colwell. I think we need to rest Trevor Chalobah. Like I said, I think Achiampong deserves it. Obviously, Cucurella has to start as our only natural left back. We might see Malo Gusto go there. I think we saw that against Copenhagen where he played on the left side of the defence. But I've gone for a front three of Tariq George on the left, who again I think deserves an opportunity in this game. Christopher NKUNKU, massive question mark about him as we've just discussed, but I feel like NKUNKU deserves one more opportunity to show potentially what he can do. And I've always said this, and I said it last Sunday. I don't think NKUNKU's been given the consistent run of games as a number 10. And I feel that is potentially where his most, important role within the team will be as a 10. Now, Cole Palmer plays there obviously a lot, throughout the season. But I feel NKUNKU, if he's given the opportunity as a number 10, can make things happen and make things work between the two of George and Madueke, who have gone with on the right-hand side of the attack. And also, you have to remember back to the preseason, I think maybe 2 years ago now, the preseason that Nicholas Jackson and NKUNKU had, and the link-up play that we got to almost prematurely see with those two, showed us that they're those who can work really well together. I want to give NKUNKU the last opportunity to try and prove why he should be in our team on a regular basis. Let's have a competition between Palmer and NKUNKU. And I think Palmer needs that as well. I think Cole Palmer needs competition as a number 10. I feel sometimes at the moment he's almost the automatic name on the team sheet. But I think if Christopher NKUNKU can up his levels, step things up, put in a couple of good top performances, there's nothing to say that he can't make that role his own. And, Cole Palmer's not been in the best of form this second half of the season. This is NKUNKU's opportunity to make the role his, make the number 10 his role, and make it his. This is his opportunity. So I've gone with NKUNKU as the 10, and Nicholas Jackson, for me, is going to need some minutes. He needs minutes under his belt before the Premier League comes to an end. I think this is the game where you give him those minutes. And if it doesn't work, you put maybe Neto in that role as the 9. You could probably put NKUNKU as the 9 and bring Cole Palmer on. So there's options off the bench that I'm really hoping Maresca uses. As I said at the start of this, he uses the team well. Rotate, swap things around. Swap things around. If it's not working, you see that it's 0-0 halftime or it's 1-0. We're only 1-0 up and we want 2-0. Let's go for the game. Let's not play it safe, because I think that's another thing we're seeing as well. The whole let's play it safe. No, let's go with the team that we know will win us the game. Let's go with the team that we know will win us the game. Let's not go for a team that's playing it safe, that is very well reserved. Let's go for it tomorrow night. What have we got to lose? We shouldn't even be talking in a negative, what have we got to lose? We should be winning this game with ease. There should be nothing that stops us from winning this game. That's my predicted lineup. My predicted scoreline will be Chelsea 3, Legia Warsaw 1. I think we'll struggle. I think we'll struggle to break them down. Maybe in the second half, we'll step things up. But I do think we'll score 3 goals. Purely because I think we've got the attacking threat there. But as I said, we're playing a team that is very well dominant at home. They've got a really good record at home, scoring goals. They've been a bit leaky this season in defence, which is why I've gone for 3-1. But we have to be on our A game, 100%. And Maresca has to get things tactically correct from the very minute of the game when it kicks off to the very end when the ref blows that final whistle. Everything has to be spot on. So let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, leave your thoughts, your predictions, your score predictions, your predicted lineups, and all of that good stuff in the comments. And we will be back for a match reaction after the game. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, we'll be back soon.